Welcome to the Trader Vision 2020 free trial series. My name's Ed Carter, and today I'm going to be walking you through setting trading goals in Trader Vision's GoalView application. Specifically, we're going to talk about why we need goals, SMART goals and what they are really. Should we consider past performance when we set our goals? We'll look at the current process within GoalView, and I'll talk about a few changes that are headed our way. And finally, we'll do a summary and then talk about the next steps in this series. So why do we need goals? Well, to paraphrase that great public speaker and philosopher Yogi Berra, if we don't know where we're going and when we want to get there, we may end up someplace else and at some other time. And that may sound like a very straightforward and logical thing, but you'd be surprised how many traders approach their trading with no goals in mind and just hoping for the best. That's no way to run a railroad, as they say. The second thing goals do for us is they make dreams a real possibility. In other words, let me give you an example. Let's say I want to get a new car. That brand new luxury car is just a dream. It's nothing that I can really take action against or nothing I can do that will earn me that new car anytime soon. However, if I make that a goal of making, say, $48,000, that'll buy us a nice car. That $48,000 is a concrete goal that I can work towards and we can break down. And the final thing that it does for us, and this is usually unseen, but it's truly critical to trading, and that's that goals can help you control emotions when you're managing trades. Again, let me give you an example. Let's say that we're trying to make that $48,000 to earn ourselves that new car. Well, I know that breaks down to about $4,000 a month or $1,000 a week. Today I happen to find myself up $1,000 on my trade, but the sky's the limit. This thing could go forever. It looks hot. The overall market's been doing great too. On the other hand, resistance is not too far overhead. Well, my goal of making $1,000 a week and the fact that I'm up $1,000 tells me that it would be prudent to control my greed and take a little bit of profit off the table, possibly take all $1,000 off the table. Live to fight another day, stay on track towards my goal, and that's how you become a successful trader. The next thing we need to talk about are SMART goals. And you may ask, what are SMART goals? Well, they're specific. And what do I mean by specific? I want to be rich. I want to make millions. I want a new car. Those are not specific goals. A specific goal is something like this. I want to earn $48,000 in the next year and do it by making 15 trades per month. That's a very specific goal, and that's going to set us up for success. The second characteristic is that a SMART goal is measurable. The good news is if you've got the specific part right, the measurable part usually falls in line. In this case, our account balance can tell us how we are doing on track to making that 48,000. And the trade log is going to tell us how we're doing relative to our goal of trading 15 times per month. The third thing a SMART goal is it's attainable. And here I'm not really talking about whether or not it's possible. I'm talking about, is it something that we can wrap our minds around? Is it something that we can take action towards? Again, there's very little most of us can do to make $48,000 today. However, there is things that we can do to make $4,000 a month or $1,000 a week or even $100 a trade. Those are things that we definitely can do. So attainable means that it's a bite size, it's a goal that we can wrap our hands around and get a real grasp on. The fourth thing that a SMART goal is it's realistic. And that's just probably what you were thinking about when I mentioned attainable. It's that something is not crazy. We're not, in order to meet our goal, we don't need to make 100% gain per month. We are within the realm of reality, and fantasy is not what we're looking at here. And lastly, a SMART goal is timely. In other words, in this case, we have an annual goal, and we can break that down into monthly, weekly chunks, even per trade chunks that will help us stay on schedule and move from accomplishment to accomplishment towards meeting our long-term goal. Okay, so we've got a SMART goal. Now we need to decide, when we're trying to determine whether or not it's realistic, do we want to look at our past performance? Do we need to base our realism off that past performance? Well, the real question is that past history still relevant? And some examples of why it may not be is, have we improved? If our history comes from the first 6 months of our trading life, we probably weren't very good during that first 6 months. Maybe we're much better now. Maybe the first 2 years we struggled, and then we finally caught on to what we were doing. That improvement makes the past performance probably not a good guideline for us. Has our account balance changed? I can just tell you that it's a lot easier to trade. A lot more trades are available to you. You can do better risk management. You can do much better trade management if you've got a larger account. So if you're trading a $2,000 account, that really should influence how you set your goals. What is really realistic working off of a $2,000 account. On the other hand, if you've got a $2 million account, it's much easier for you to find positions, to use good risk management, and to manage trades effectively. Has the market changed? Here's a classic example from not so long ago. If your history came from 2007 and 2008, you're probably not very good. Your history probably says that you're in a world of hurt, and that's because the market crashed those 2 years. However, if your history comes from 2009 through 2014, it seems like you're a world beater because the entire market was a raging bull all those years. How does that really apply to 2015 and 2016, where the market has been grinding sideways for 2 years? Well, the big crash of 2007 and 8 doesn't apply, and the huge rally from 2009 through 2014 probably doesn't apply either. So if you're going to apply history, you probably want to look at 2015, 2016, unless you have firm evidence that the market is going back to a raging bull or going back to a crash. Perhaps our vehicles changed. For the last 5 years we've been trading stocks, and now we're trading options, or maybe we're just trading leveraged 3x ETFs. In both cases, because we're now trading a much more leveraged vehicle, that past history doesn't mean as much and shouldn't be given as much weight when we try to consider what's realistic. And finally, has our style changed? Have we had some fundamental change in our fear and greed factors? For example, you're probably a lot more aggressive earlier in life than you are later in life. You're more aggressive in the years right before you retire than you are in the years after you retire. Those are just truisms of life. Okay, with those basics out of the way, I'd like to now look at the Trader Vision application, and we'll take a look at how we set goals there. As you'll recall from the first 3 videos in this series, every time we open Trader Vision, we come to the dashboard, and again, if these colors do not match yours, I have changed them in setup to match my own preferences. In this video, we're going to look at Goal View, and this is the current layout of the Goal View application. It's meant to be very straightforward. You can have a goal for each individual account. It does give us a look at our past performance, and I've talked to you about whether or not that's relevant to your specific situation for goal planning now. For the moment, let's just walk through the fields. So the way this reads is To get from our current balance of 112,000 to a balance of 200,000 in 12 months requires almost 5% per month. And that comes out to be $5,538 the first month. That's probably not realistic. So I would say that in this case, we probably want to adjust that goal down somewhat. Perhaps for a newer investor, something like 150,000 is a better goal in a 1-year time frame. In this case, it tells us to get to 150,000 is going to take us just under 2.5% per month, and that's $2,700 per month off our $112,000 balance. We then decide how many trades per month we are going to do. In this case, I'm going to do 20 per month. That's a little under 1 per day. And it tells me in order to make that $2,758, I'm going to need to average $137.91 over my 20 trades. Now that's an average, and the first thing you need to keep in mind is that you're not going to win every trade. So in the current version, what you need to do is to modify these numbers. So just for argument's sake and to give you an idea, let's say I'm going to do 20 trades per month, but I'm going to specify that I need to make all my profits in 10 trades per month. That's probably pretty cautious. And that tells me in order to do that, I need to do 20 trades per month, but I also need to make $275 per trade. So I'm still doing 20 trades per month, but I'm dividing my profits up over just 10 trades. And that's where we come up with this number. At the bottom of the page, it shows you your current goals in green and your past performance projected forward as a gray line. In some cases, if you see this graph and your gray line is projected above the green, that tells you need to raise your goals. You're not quite up to speed with what you can accomplish. The other thing that you can do here is to look at the monthly data. And let's say, for example, that I know that I'm going on vacation in July. So I'm going to make that 0 trades the month of July. And to make up for that, perhaps I need to make this 13 trades a month. Each of the months before that. Okay, that's just an example, and that gives you an idea of how you can stay on track and still meet your goal of 150,000 at the end of the 12 months. Okay, so you have that flexibility to adjust into your plans things that you know are going to happen, or for example, as you go through the month, you plan to do 20 trades the first month, you only happen to get in 15, so you need to adjust that down and say that you did 7 that month, and you need to adjust these up to offset that number. Again, it's the average that's going to work out for you, and again, get you back to that $150,000 goal. Okay, that's really it. You save your goals are saved. You can print your goals out to put them on the side of your monitor or put them somewhere in your file folder, someplace that you can reference so that you know you need to keep on track towards that goal and let that drive your trade. Later, when we're talking about trading in TradeView, we'll talk about how this goal will then be visible to us and influence us in how we manage trades that we've opened. Okay, that's it for the current version. I do want to tell you that we have some changes coming down the pipeline where we will allow reality to be factored in slightly differently. I don't want to go into that too much today. Let's just say that this will be changing over the next few months with improvements based on user feedback. Okay, with that said, let's go back and do a quick summary and then talk about our next steps. Okay, so far today we talked about why we need goals, again, to tell us where we're going and when we need to get there, and to help us manage our trades as we're on our way there. We talked about making SMART goals that are specific and measurable. They're attainable, meaning we can wrap our mind around them. They're realistic, and they have time-based components so we can break things down into bite-sized chunks. We've talked about whether or not we should consider our past performance as we try to determine what a realistic goal is. And then we walk through the current process within Trader Vision of setting your goals, and then we will talk about using them when we get into the TradeView portion of the application. The next thing that we will talk about is trading and trade views, and that will come to you in the next series of videos. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you are enjoying the Trader Vision trial, and I look forward to talking to you soon.